Have you ever watched someone age and thought, I hope I can grow older with even a fraction of their grace? For me, that person has always been my mother. Long before I thought much about getting older myself, I noticed the way she carried herself, the quiet confidence in her step, and the calm patience in her words. She wasn't someone who chased youth or tried to fight the inevitable signs of age. Instead, she seemed to embrace each year with a kind of wisdom and serenity that I could only admire from afar. As I've grown older myself, I've realized just how much of her example has shaped the way I approach my own life and the way I think about aging. In this video, I want to share some of the lessons my mother taught me about growing older gracefully. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical, lived experiences that can help any of us find more peace, confidence, and joy as the years go by. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, I hope her wisdom can inspire you as much as it has inspired me. Today, I'll be talking about the first few key lessons: how to take care of yourself without obsession, how to stay curious and engaged, and how to build a daily rhythm that supports both body and mind. Let's start with self-care without obsession. My mother always believed that taking care of yourself wasn't about chasing perfection or adhering to every beauty trend that came and went. She would often say, a healthy body and a peaceful mind will always outlast makeup or the latest hairstyle. What I noticed growing up was that she spent time doing things that genuinely nourished her: a short walk every morning, preparing meals with care, tending to her garden, and even small moments of rest when she needed them. There was a rhythm to her self-care, but it wasn't about pressure or stress. It was about consistency, attention, and respect for herself. That lesson has stuck with me. Aging gracefully isn't about fighting age, it's about loving yourself enough to support your well-being day after day. Another important lesson my mother taught me was the power of curiosity and engagement. She never allowed herself to become stagnant or disconnected from the world. Even in her 70s, she was reading new books, learning about different cultures, and staying connected with friends and neighbors. She approached each day as an opportunity to learn something new, to understand someone better, or to try a small challenge she hadn't faced before. This openness to life, even when physical energy might have waned, showed me that mental and emotional engagement are just as important as physical health when it comes to aging gracefully. I've taken this to heart by keeping my mind active, joining classes, and seeking experiences that expand my perspective. It's amazing how much vitality comes from a curious mind. The third point I want to talk about is creating a daily rhythm that honors both body and mind. My mother had routines, but they were flexible and grounded in balance rather than strict rules. She started each morning with quiet reflection or prayer, followed by movement, usually a walk or light stretching, and a simple, nourishing breakfast. Throughout the day, she made sure to include moments of rest, social connection, and creative expression, whether that was sewing, cooking, or simply chatting with a friend. In the evenings, she slowed down, allowing herself time to reflect and prepare for sleep without rush or worry. Watching her, I realized that a thoughtful, steady rhythm helps the body age more comfortably and keeps the mind clear and resilient. It's not about perfection or strict schedules, it's about respecting natural cycles and giving yourself permission to move at your own pace. One of the things that always struck me was how gentle she was with herself. She didn't berate herself for getting tired or for having a day when things didn't go as planned. She understood that aging brings changes, and she met those changes with patience rather than frustration. That attitude, patience, acceptance, and gentle self-talk, is something I continue to practice. I've learned that being kind to myself, just as my mother was, makes each day feel lighter and more manageable. It's a lesson that seems simple, but it has profound effects on both mental and physical health. As we think about these first lessons, self-care without obsession, curiosity and engagement, and creating a balanced daily rhythm, it's clear that aging gracefully isn't just about appearance or avoiding decline. It's about mindset, choices, and how we treat ourselves on a daily basis. My mother's approach was subtle, yet powerful. Small, intentional actions repeated over years can build a life of dignity, health, and peace. These habits aren't flashy, but they make a lasting difference. Now that we've looked at these initial lessons, the next step is to explore how relationships, emotional resilience, and finding joy in simple things play a huge role in aging gracefully. These are the next layers of what my mother taught me, the deeper wisdom that goes beyond routine and curiosity and touches the heart of living well. Watching and feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. As we move deeper into what my mother taught me, one of the most important lessons she modeled was the power of emotional resilience. Life, as we all know, doesn't become any less complicated as we age. There are health challenges, unexpected losses, and moments of uncertainty that can easily shake our peace of mind. But my mother faced these challenges with a remarkable steadiness. She taught me that resilience isn't about never feeling sadness or frustration, it's about how we respond to those feelings. She would take a deep breath, allow herself to feel whatever came up, and then focus on what she could control. Watching her, I learned that emotional resilience is like a muscle, it strengthens with practice. When I encountered difficulties in my own life, I remembered her example. Instead of reacting impulsively or dwelling on what I couldn't change, I allowed myself to pause, reflect, and respond from a place of calm rather than fear or irritation. Closely tied to resilience is the importance of nurturing relationships. My mother never underestimated the power of connection. She maintained friendships that spanned decades, stayed close to family, and cultivated small, meaningful interactions with neighbors and acquaintances alike. She reminded me that aging gracefully isn't just about caring for yourself, it's also about investing in the people around you. Genuine relationships provide support, laughter, and a sense of belonging, all of which are essential for emotional well-being. I remember watching her host a simple afternoon tea for a friend, just chatting and laughing without any need for grandeur. It was in those ordinary, unscripted moments that I saw the true richness of life unfold, a richness that comes from care, presence, and attention to others. Another crucial lesson was finding joy in the small things. My mother had a way of seeing beauty in ordinary moments, the morning light streaming through the kitchen window, the smell of fresh bread, or the sound of birds outside. She taught me that happiness doesn't always come from big achievements or milestones, it often comes from appreciating what's right in front of us. I've carried this with me, making a conscious effort each day to notice little pleasures, whether it's sipping a cup of tea slowly, taking a short walk in the park, or even laughing at a silly memory. Over time, these small acts of gratitude and joy compound, creating a life that feels richer and more satisfying. My mother also emphasized the importance of self-expression and creativity, even in later years. She never stopped pursuing her hobbies, whether it was knitting, painting, or writing letters to family members. She didn't do these things to impress anyone or to prove she was still capable, she did them because they brought her fulfillment and joy. Watching her, I realized that maintaining creativity is a form of self-respect. It's a way to honor your own mind and spirit, to keep curiosity alive, and to engage with the world in meaningful ways. I began to explore my own creative outlets more intentionally, journaling, sketching, and experimenting with small projects, and I found that this sense of purpose and accomplishment contributes enormously to feeling vibrant at any age. Another subtle but profound lesson she offered was grace under pressure. My mother handled challenges, whether they were disagreements, health scares, or logistical stresses, with a calm demeanor. She didn't overreact, she didn't panic, and she didn't allow frustration to take center stage. Instead, she approached problems with clarity, patience, and a sense of humor. I realized that aging gracefully is not just about avoiding negativity, it's about cultivating an inner steadiness that allows you to navigate life's ups and downs without losing your balance. When I tried to emulate this behavior, I noticed that people responded to me differently, conversations became smoother, conflicts less intense, and life's small irritations felt less burdensome. Finally, she showed me the value of mindful presence. My mother didn't rush through meals, chores, or conversations. She was fully present in each moment, appreciating it for what it was, rather than constantly planning ahead or dwelling on the past. This approach has had a remarkable effect on how I live my own life. I try to savor moments instead of letting them slip by unnoticed. Whether I'm sitting with a cup of tea, walking in the garden, or listening to a friend, I aim to be fully attentive and engaged. Being present like this brings a sense of calm and fulfillment that often feels elusive in the busyness of modern life. As we reflect on these lessons, emotional resilience, nurturing relationships, finding joy in small moments, pursuing creativity, grace under pressure, and mindful presence, it becomes clear that aging gracefully is less about avoiding the signs of age and more about cultivating an attitude and lifestyle that honors both your inner and outer self. My mother's approach wasn't flashy or dramatic, it was subtle, consistent, and deeply human. It reminds us that the quality of our later years isn't determined by appearances alone, but by how we treat ourselves, how we relate to others, and how we choose to experience life moment by moment. The next layer of this journey, and the focus of the final part, will explore how to integrate these lessons into daily life, maintain independence and confidence, and find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment as we continue to age. As we reach the final part of this journey, let's talk about how to take all these lessons from my mother and integrate them into everyday life, so that growing older becomes not something to fear, but a process to embrace with confidence and joy. One of the first things I realized is that maintaining independence is essential. My mother never wanted to rely on others for things she could manage herself, whether it was cooking, walking to the store, or organizing her own schedule. She respected her own abilities and didn't see asking for help as a sign of weakness, but rather as a tool to maintain her autonomy when truly necessary. Watching her, I learned that cultivating self-sufficiency, while balancing it with the wisdom to accept help when needed, is a cornerstone of aging gracefully. It gives you a sense of control, self-respect, and dignity that is invaluable as the years go by. Closely connected to independence is confidence in your choices and lifestyle. My mother had opinions, preferences, and routines that she valued, and she lived them without apologizing. She made choices about what she wore, what she ate, and how she spent her time based on what made her feel good, not what society expected. That confidence was contagious. It encouraged me to embrace my own preferences and live authentically, without constantly comparing myself to others. Aging gracefully isn't about fitting into someone else's expectations, it's about honoring yourself and the life you've built. Another lesson she modeled is the art of pacing yourself. Life doesn't require us to be in constant motion or to accomplish everything at once. My mother knew how to slow down, how to savor each day, and how to prioritize what truly mattered. She taught me that there is power in pacing, in balancing activity with rest, and in allowing the body and mind to renew themselves. When I adopted this mindset, I noticed a significant improvement in my energy, mood, and overall quality of life. Aging gracefully isn't about running a race, it's about moving through life in a way that feels sustainable, rewarding, and meaningful. One of the most beautiful lessons she taught me is how to find purpose and meaning in each stage of life. Even as she grew older, my mother remained engaged, volunteering in small ways, mentoring younger relatives, writing letters, or tending to her hobbies. She demonstrated that purpose doesn't vanish with age, it transforms. Finding something that brings fulfillment, whether helping others, pursuing a passion, or learning new things, gives structure, motivation, and a sense of joy to each day. I've seen how maintaining this sense of purpose has kept her vibrant, mentally sharp, and emotionally balanced, and it's inspired me to do the same. My mother also taught me the importance of embracing change with grace. Life is full of transitions, especially as we age, retirement, health changes, loss of friends or loved ones. She met these changes with acceptance, adapting without resentment and choosing to focus on what she could enjoy rather than what she had lost. This attitude of flexibility and openness to life's natural ebbs and flows is perhaps one of the most vital aspects of aging gracefully. It's about choosing to see opportunities rather than obstacles, and finding beauty even in moments that may initially seem difficult. Finally, perhaps the most profound lesson of all is how to cultivate gratitude and joy in everyday life. My mother had an extraordinary ability to notice and appreciate small blessings: a sunny morning, a cup of tea with a friend, laughter shared over a simple meal. She demonstrated that happiness doesn't always come from grand achievements. It often comes from cultivating a mindset of appreciation for what is already present. I've carried this with me, making a conscious effort to acknowledge the good in each day, to celebrate small wins, and to savor ordinary moments. That practice of gratitude transforms ordinary days into a life that feels rich and full. As we reflect on these lessons, maintaining independence, living with confidence, pacing yourself, finding purpose, embracing change, and cultivating gratitude, it becomes clear that aging gracefully is less about what you look like or how fast you move, and more about how you live, think, and connect. My mother's example reminds us that every day is an opportunity to honor ourselves, nurture our relationships, and find joy in the journey. Aging is not a problem to solve, it's a stage of life to embrace with wisdom, dignity, and love. I encourage you to take a moment today to think about what small changes you can make that honor these lessons. Perhaps it's picking up a hobby you've set aside, reaching out to a friend, slowing down in the morning to enjoy your coffee, or simply acknowledging one thing you're grateful for. Small steps like these, repeated consistently, can create a life of ease, balance, and fulfillment. I'd love to hear from you. What lessons have you learned from someone you admire about growing older? How do you find joy, balance, and purpose in your daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can inspire each other. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content on living well at any age. Remember, aging gracefully isn't about avoiding the years, it's about embracing them with wisdom, curiosity, and heart. Here's to honoring yourself, living fully, and cherishing each moment, because the best chapters of life are always ahead, no matter what age you are.